Hello everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. I'm now starting to work on my project for this month of February, and it's with Roxy Creations, the group, and so you can make anything that was a wearable. It's volume 5 episode, I'm not sure if it's episode 11 or 12, I can never figure that out. Anyway, I'm going to make two lots of things. So the first one is this color range, and I'm making a cuff because I make lots of cuffs and I find those are good to make. Then I'm going to make a brooch, and so I've started piecing some fabrics together, and what I thought I would do is just, or maybe talk about some of the little ideas I have. So first of all, I'm just stitching on, this one's going to be a little bit sort of gypsy-like, and so I thought I would just stitch on a few things here. I've got a little label, and it's a little tough label to get through, I must say. So I'm just going to have to push it through like that. It's on a kind of a canvas. I think I was off camera then, wasn't I? Yeah, I think it's on a canvas material, so I don't need to be too careful with it because I am going to do some slow stitching on all of this. But right now I've just sort of put some basting stitches here and there to hold things, and we'll see where that goes. So anyway, so that the label, I've stitched it on the three sides. Have I? Or two sides? Two sides, like that. So my idea is to keep it not lacy. I don't want to make this so lacy, but I do want to put a lot of sort of maybe a little bit exotic embellishments. I have some trims that are old that could work. I've got this particular one, which is sort of an old-fashioned bric-a-brac, and I thought I would put that here, you know, some bits of that here and there. I do have a little bit of lace, a little bit here, but that's as far as I'm going with the lace. And I'm going to, as I said, do some of my own embroidery. And I think what I'll do is I will do it with big thread and make it stand out. Do a lot of chunky sort of embroidery this time. And so we'll see how that goes. But for this, I thought I would, just here and there, I'll put some of this nice ric-rac, this old-fashioned, it's almost like baby ric-rac, isn't it, that? And now I could glue it on, that'd be possible. I'm trying not to glue things, though. I'm not great with glue. I get it all over myself, and the glue gun, forget that, I'm hopeless. So I thought I would just put a little, but just to outline it at the bottom, and then I'll see what I'll do. Do the slow stitching and maybe some feather stitch around the sides of it with embroidery floss. So I'm just going to do this at the moment just to show you, where my mind is going, what I have in mind. As I said, I have gypsy in mind, but not too crazy with too many trinkets. I'm just going to keep it sort of, I wouldn't say whimsical, but maybe a little bit of an elegant gypsy. So I've got that there, and I'm not going to do any more of that right now, but I'll show you what, where is it? I'll show you how the back looks. I've got the back onto interfacing, that batting interfacing stuff, and that, I must say, is a little bit hard to sew through, so I have to be careful what kind of stitching I do for that. So anyhow, that's how that looks, and that's going to be the cuff. And so when I do the cuff or make it, it's going to be folded like so, and there'll be a buttonhole here, and then a button of some sort there, or it could be this way. I just have to decide. Probably I think actually I'll probably have to do it this way. So that'll be how it'll fasten, button and a nice coordinating button, but not too fancy a button, maybe a rusty sort of mother of pearl looking button. And then I always turn the cuff around where I figure out it's going to be fastened and decide this is going to be the center. So that is actually the focal point. So when I cut the batting and the fabric, I've got some nice linen fabric under there to shape. I want to make it a little bit more prominent there. So the major embellishments will go there. And as I said, I'm going to make a lot of raised sort of embroidery. I'll do quite a lot of things like French knots and thicker threads and things like that. So that's going to be that part of it. But the other part of the set is going to be the brooch. And the brooch is like, I've already pieced it a little bit and put it on well, this is actually on felt. And this was a piece of linen underneath that already had kind of this lacy material, it's like tatting on the side. So I left that there. I'm going to keep that there. And then I have the word amour here. So I've just basted it on a little bit. And then I found some of these very old ethnic beads on dark sort of chains, but I like them with it. And I thought if I can make some sort of a dangle, this is my thought process. I thought, oh, and I'll look and see if I can find any more of these. But if I could dangle them somehow like that and make, because it's a brooch, you can do that. And so make that sort of look like that. And then there's a bit of a problem many times with the brooch, particularly if it's fabric like this. And this one is rather large. I may have to trim it. I'm just not sure on that, but I'm trying to keep it that size. And of course I'll be slow stitching both of these pieces. They'll have a lot of slow stitching. Then I have to think of how I'm going to attach that to your coat or your garment. So I've got a couple of options. I can either sew on a large safety pin, and that works pretty well. It's probably a good size for that. Or if I can work it with one of these, that's a proper brooch back, and I find that it's stable enough, I think I would probably prefer that, because you can sew through all those holes and make it quite good. But it just remains to be seen if when the person is wearing it, that it doesn't sort of all buckle. So I have to look for making the ends pretty stable. So that's my idea for that. And I already went and put a little bit of some antique sort of tatting looking material. And then there's pretty much the same pieces of a patch that I used here. And I thought that kept it it could be sold as a set. And I do like the idea. I like these colors. They're sort of soft, a little bit sort of tan, washed, subdued, and as I say, if I can find some more beads or pieces like these are old pieces. They're from Afghanistan, and I think they're sort of ambery material. Very pretty. And I used to have a whole lot of the jewelry with that on, so I'm going to look through my old jewelry and see if I can pull something like that off one of them. So that's one that I'm working on, and I'm going to do another set. So I won't show you that today, but I'll show you the basic. So when I do one of these cuffs, this is the setup. Same as this one. I have a nice batting, and then I have a nice linen on this side. This is antique linen, but it's nice because it's got a lovely weave to it. So that'll be, I always make a little raised portion, a little dip portion, which will be the center. So when it's folded like so, that's how it'll look on, like that. And then of course all the bits and pieces that are going to go on, well, they will go in this center, and then all the rest will be covered with slow stitching. And this one I'm going to do, so ignore the fact that these are pinky, because those are for that, because this one I'm going to change the colorway totally, and I've already picked out some of the fabrics I'll be using. I won't show you quite right now, but I'm going to be using this color scheme, blues, and I'm going to turn some of the fabrics a little paler with washes of this dyed material, dyed scrim. And I also have, this one has a cute bird, embroidered bird, drinking out of a dish, and I found that on some old antique embroidery of mine, so that'll be the focal point on that one, and I'll show you how I put that in place later on. Anyway, so I hope I didn't muddle up the answers there, because I'm never clear about these things. When they say volume 5 episode 11 or 12, I'm totally lost, so I just have to sort of follow along and hope for the best. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you like the choices I've come up with. A little bit different from the last go round where I did the pouch, although it's still in that sort of flowery, vintagey look that I like. And I'll show you the next step after a little bit, when I've put a little more of this couching on, and see how that looks, because it'll probably change color, and I'll probably have some of these darker colors as well on there. So goodbye for now. This is Lila in Hawaii.